Hey everybody, it's Jade. How's it going? Thanks so much for cruising on through. Whether you're watching right now, maybe later, hopefully not never. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm going to be doing a astrology reading or a prediction, I guess rather, on the Minnesota Lynx Phoenix Mercury game number 2 for the WNBA semifinals. I'll be pulling up the astrology chart for tip-off slated for 6:30 Central Time in Minneapolis. Lynx are up 1-0 in this series. They took game 1. Can't remember the score. I think it was like 69-80 or something like that. It wasn't very close. It's the best of 5. So after tonight, the ladies will all be going down to Phoenix. So maybe Minnesota is going to take the lead 2-0, or can the Mercury tie it up? We shall see. And then probably do a little bit of Vikings chatter as well, because that's just kind of how I do over here. Pretty much everybody except the Bears are in the NFC North for the NFL are 2-1. So the Lions managed to beat the Ravens last night for Monday Night Football. I think the Lions eventually, I think the ending score was like 38-30, something like that. I caught a little bit of it, but I was cheering for the Lions, even though I'm a Vikings fan myself. Whenever they're not playing the Vikings, I just kind of, find myself cheering for them. I don't mind Lamar. I like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I just feel like they're so hyped up all the time, that being the Ravens. So it was kind of fun to see Detroit get the win, and in Baltimore too. So yeah, very exciting. And for the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to be headed over to Ireland here for this Sunday's game. I'm going to be streaming early for that one, probably around 7:30 a.m. Central Time, because kickoff is about 8:30 Central Time. And then the next week following, it's going to be another early one. Minnesota is going to be in London for the next one. So yeah, look out for that. And then I think game 3 for the ladies is, I want to say Friday. So I'm going to try to pop on for that too. So anyway, I'm going to share the chart for tonight's game and make a prediction. I pulled this up earlier today. I tried to kind of take a few peeks between breaks at work when I had time. And then after I was done, I was looking at it again. So, like I said, I'm going to share, but I don't know, like straight away, I will say when I was kind of looking at it, I'm like, is Phoenix going to snag this one tonight? Are they going to manage to get it done? And for the Minnesota Lynx, they're dealing with Dejanay Carrington. She's going to be out for the remainder of the playoffs. I think she might have like an ankle injury or something like that. I can't quite recall what the injury is there, but yeah. And, while I pull up the chart here for the Lynx game tonight, it's just like for the Minnesota Vikings, the drama always continues. Just always, always, always. For the Minnesota Vikings, there's always something going on for them. I mean, I think there's probably something for every single sport or every single NFL team, but like the drama always ensues for the purple, but that's what keeps it exciting. So anyway, this is the chart for tonight. Like I said, tip-off slated for 6:30. So let's see, about an hour from now. And yes, they are playing at the Target Center in Minneapolis. And then the NBA is right around the corner too. So for this game, the start of it, or pretty much the duration of this game, the moon is going to be what's called void of course. So the moon is not making any major communication with any other planets until the moon moves into the next sign. So when I do the astrology readings, when I do the predictions, keep saying that, I always look at the moon because she's the co-ruler of the chart. And then I'm going to look at the planets that are ruling each team, see how they're communicating. And usually I look and see how those planets that represent each team are communicating with the moon. But since the moon's not doing anything, kind of have to look a little bit deeper, look a little bit elsewhere. And then we also look at house number 5 for each team. That's going to be the house of games. And then house 10, that's the reputation, the highest point on the chart, the very public point on the chart So I'm going to look at those things for each team to kind of determine the winner. And then I will do a point spread too. I'm really still trying to narrow in on like what's going to give me the point spread, because that is even harder in itself. But for tonight, I will start with the moon. I already kind of touched on it. At tip-off time, 6:30 tonight, the moon is at 25 degrees of Libra right over here. So she's not, like I said, she's void of course in traditional astrology. So again, that means by the time the moon moves into Scorpio, or before that, she's not going to be communicating with any other planets. So the moon rules the people, the moon co-rules the chart, and she's just kind of wandering, not super, super lost, I guess, but just kind of like, okay, I'm going to go off the beaten path here. I'm not really going to talk to anybody. And in the sign of Libra, Libra is a air sign, so kind of like a cerebral sign. So maybe just kind of like mind wandering, like floating. We just had the eclipse, which is very powerful energy, can be really heavy energy. We're still kind of feeling that. So, and the new moon. So best to just, kind of float around. So that's kind of what the moon is doing tonight. And then for each team, I'm going to start with Minnesota, since Minnesota is the home team. They're represented by Mercury tonight, because the zodiac sign that represents the Lynx is Virgo, how I'm reading the chart here. And Mercury is at 9 degrees of Libra. She's actually, I guess Mercury's kind of neutral. For gender anyway, when it comes to planets. But so Mercury, the Lynx, they are in their own first house of themselves as a team. Mercury is communication planet in the sign of Libra, very diplomatic, wants to be kind of level-headed or, have justice and fairness. Cheryl Reeve for the Lynx, the head coach for the Lynx, is a Libra. She was born with her sun in Libra. So, and it's a cardinal sign too, which are normally, the cardinal signs are normally leaders. And for the Lynx, they also are co-ruled by the sun, the moon, and Mars, because they have the sun in their first house, this being the Lynx. They have the moon, talking about her again, and then Mars. So Mercury is the main ruler of the Lynx tonight, and then they also have the sun, moon, and Mars co-ruling them. So that's a lot of energy for the Lynx. Again, just to touch on the moon is also in the Lynx first house, co-ruling them. So could their mind be wandering a little bit here today too? Because that's kind of what the moon is up to. Could that kind of, merge into the Lynx themselves? Maybe, just kind of being, I don't want to say like completely lost, but maybe not, super characteristic of the Lynx, because they've won, I think, 4 championships. Very, best team in the WNBA. And then the Lynx also have the sun there. The sun is very, very powerful. It's like vitality, life force energy. So that's also hanging out there and also helping the Lynx. I'm going to dive deeper a little bit here, but they have so much extra energy ruling them. And then the Lynx also have Mars in their first house. Mars is your ambition, your drive. It can be anger. Mars is now moved into Scorpio. So Mars is in good shape. Mars rules the sign of Scorpio. So Mars feels very comfortable there. Now for the Mercury, flipping over to them here, they have Pisces ruling them. And Pisces' main ruler is Jupiter. And then modern day ruler for Pisces is Neptune. So the main ruler for the Mercury tonight, funny enough, the way I'm reading the chart, the Lynx are ruled by by Mercury. And Mercury, they're ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter's the greater benefic in astrology. Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer right now. Jupiter has been in the sign of Cancer. Jupiter loves being in the sign of Cancer. So that bodes well for Mercury just having Jupiter rule them, which is the greater benefic planet. And then again, they're co-ruled by Neptune. Neptune is at 0 degrees of Aries, and Neptune is retrograde. Neptune can kind of glamorize things. It can pull you under. And the Mercury, they also have Saturn co-ruling them because Saturn is in their first house. Saturn also retrograde. Saturn can slow things down. All right. You got to have patience there. And can really, you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in and you got to be patient on Saturn's time there. Kind of like and Saturn is the greater malefic planet. So the Mercury have kind of dual rulership here of both the greater malefic and the greater benefic planet. Is that going to kind of like zero out that energy? We'll see. And then the Mercury also have the part of fortune in their first house. We might take a peek at that. And then they have the wounded asteroid, the healer, Chiron in their first house. So I don't know if the Mercury themselves are dealing with injury. I don't know. They could be, or, hopefully, I don't ever hope for injuries, but hopefully no injury like that. But with Chiron squaring Jupiter, I don't necessarily like that too much, but Chiron's a slow mover and Chiron has been in Aries for quite some time. But, head injury, something like that, potentially. Hi, JV. Good to see you. Hey. Bears won the other day. I saw that. Hi, Corey. Nice to catch you on the live. How you doing? How's your fantasy football team going? Nice to have you pop in. Good to see you. Hope you're having a great week thus far, everybody. And so both of these teams tonight, the Lynx and the Mercury, they have extra energy because of all these extra planets that are clustered in each one of their teams. They're like an extra teammate tonight for each team. And if we look at the chart in general, the two houses, the two sides of the chart here, house number 1 and 7, those are the houses that are ruling each team. And that's where the majority of the planets are right now. So interesting energy. And it's like, which team has the better energy here tonight, really? I mean, that's usually how it always is. But with all of these extra planets, like co-ruling each team, it's a bit of an interesting chart. And then also with the moon, who, again, normally she's the co-ruler. You can look to her, but she's wandering off. She's lost. Okay, not completely. She'll get back on track, but right now she's not. So if anybody kind of feels just like, loosey-goosey, or just kind of maybe a little bit lost, or kind of like you're wandering, you maybe can't necessarily stay on task or something like that. You find yourself maybe a little unbalanced energy right now. That could be the moon, the void moon too. But she's a very fast mover, so that energy will pass quickly. Because I think later tonight she's going to move into Scorpio. But yeah, so. Your 1 and 2, your fantasy team? Yeah, he's going to be back. But nobody cares. Exactly. I know. It's so funny because I keep hearing that now every now and again when somebody will bring up their fantasy team. I don't know what I was listening to the other day, but they said the same thing. And I'm like, word's getting out. I'm not like the only one that says that, but whoever it was, they were like, oh yeah, my fantasy team. And then they stopped themselves and like, nobody cares, but da-da-da. And I was like, exactly. But yeah, I care. I forgot I was gonna, I missed it by a day at my work. They play fantasy football and I was gonna join, and then I had like, pinned the email. So I was gonna go back to it, and then I missed the cutoff. So darn it. So I'm not playing at all, but I can live vicariously through everybody else. But it's early in the season. So there you go. And yeah, hopefully Addison helps you out. All right. Now, JV, what do you got? The Bears game on Sunday was one of the most fun Bears games you can remember in your lifetime. Well, that's exciting. On the upswing, right? I forgot, who did you guys play on Sunday? I did catch a little bit of it. I was watching it. But yeah, that's great. Good. And hopefully, it would be fun for like the NFC North to be just like super duper competitive, hella competitive. That would be extra fun, right? So, and the season, it's still early. Anything can happen. But yeah, that's exciting. Congratulations. There you go. All right. Now, for each of these teams, I'm going to go back to the Lynx. So again, all this extra energy, I'm going to look at each team's 5th house because that's where games are found in astrology. And then I'm going to look at the 10th house for each team. So, Oh yeah, that's right. They were playing Dallas. That's right. That's right. Yeah. And to see them beat America's team too. That's exciting because America's team, like whatever. Yeah, very good. And then I was watching that too because now that you guys mention it, I was like, man, Dallas is still trying. And then Dak just kept throwing interceptions, so not going to work. Funny enough, when I won my fantasy league, Dak was my quarterback, so I had like a soft spot for him for a while. But man, I don't know what's going on with him. There was a couple years there, just really good, and kind of ever since, yeah, not really working out. Dak's not getting it done. So anyway, alrighty. Now for the Lynx, again, they're represented by Mercury and all these other planets and the sun and the moon. So it's like, whoa. So I mean, right there for the Mercury, them being ruled by Jupiter tonight is good to have a benefic planet, that being Jupiter or Venus. That's to start off very nice, but that doesn't mean they're going to win. But then on the flip side, for the Lynx, they're ruled by Mercury tonight, but then they also have the sun there, which is very powerful, co-ruling them. And normally the moon is extra powerful, but she loses some of that luster because again, she's void. And then the Lynx also have Mars, the energy planet, co-ruling them too. So all of this like extra planetary energy here. Hopefully it all comes together. I guess I say that because I'm a Lynx fan. But when I read the chart, I have to stay neutral. I can't be like, oh, because then you're not going to read it right. So I got to stay objective. For the Lynx, their fifth house of how they play their game tonight is ruled by Saturn. And Mercury, that being the Lynx, is not doing anything with Saturn. So I don't find that to be like super beneficial. And again, Saturn is a co-ruler of the Mercury tonight. So that's very, that's kind of fitting. Like, oh, who rules their game though? Is it going to be Mercury ruling the Lynx game, or the Lynx going to be able to overcome that? And then if you notice for the Lynx, they also have Pluto in their fifth house of games. Pluto is transformational. It's a slow mover. It's a planet of destruction and, upheavals, but it clears away rubble and things that aren't working for you. But it can be deeply rooted things. So that's also in the fifth house for the Lynx tonight. So it's like, is there going to be some sort of upheaval in the Lynx game tonight? Are the Mercury going to surprise them? That being the Lynx, like in their home court. And for the Lynx, Mercury is not doing anything with Pluto. Again, not doing anything with Saturn. And then they also have the moon there. So that just kind of leads me to believe that I don't want to say for maybe the entire game, potentially the entire game, but that the Lynx maybe just won't look like 100% themselves. Like they themselves might just look a little lost in some capacity. Maybe like some sort of like balance issue, be it like offense or defense, something like that. Maybe the fans aren't going to be into it as much either. And for the Lynx, they also have the sun, but the sun is supporting Pluto, and Pluto is in the Lynx fifth house. So that's good. It's like good and bad. And Mars is squaring Pluto. So it could be explosive energy as well. That could also be how it, turns out. And then for the Lynx, their 10th house of how they show out to the public tonight is also ruled by Mercury. And Mercury, again, is the ruler of the Lynx themselves and is in their first house. So it's not a surprise that like all eyes are on the Lynx. I did hear earlier that the Lynx are favored, I think, by like 7.5 points this game. So, it's like what in it is in the chart here is gonna give the winner. And again, when I first looked at this, I just had an inkling that the Mercury were gonna get it. But as you keep going, it's just like the Lynx have all of this planetary energy here. And while it's not all positive, it's just so much. And the extra support that the Mercury have is Saturn, and Saturn can be a tough one, but Saturn is also opposing the sun. So could, Saturn, Mercury bring a stop to the Lynx game tonight and put kind of a shadow or, pour some water on the Lynx fire in some capacity. Corey, so I suppose you will be doing your Irish, yeah, or saying tea and crumpets. I'm going to be trying, yeah. I'm drinking tea right now, so I'm practicing. I can give top of the morning to everybody on Sunday. But yeah, that is the plan. That is the plan. And Irish is hard, so I'm like I think I'm like 1% Irish. So I've been saying that I need to brush up on it. Jamie, I feel like America's team might actually be the Vikings. What? Really? Or the Bills, because they're two of the least hated teams in the league, whereas a lot of people hate the Cowboys. That's true, but I feel like a lot of people hate the Cowboys because they're America's team. So over time, are people just gonna hate the Vikings and the Bills? That's an interesting take, though. I do feel like the Vikings have a lot of like public support, like celebrity support and stuff. I feel like there's always celebrities and stuff coming out of the woodwork that are Vikings fans, or some that are just like diehard Vikings fans. I feel like if you said that to other Vikings fans, they would be like, "What? No, we're hated. We're hated. Nobody likes us." Or at least maybe like the NFL, they would say. I think a lot of Vikings fans would say the NFL doesn't like the Vikings, but that doesn't mean the public doesn't like them. So yeah, and I will say too, I'm like you could consider me like a bandwagon Bills fan for sure. Yeah. And I definitely was more back in the day when Diggs and Keenum were on the Bills. Not so much anymore because there's not any former Vikings on there, but I like the mafia business of it all, and I like the winner mentality. All right. Yeah, I was mentioning Scorpio earlier. Yeah, because Mars, actually, the ruler of Scorpio, just moved into Scorpio. So that's good. So anybody that has heavy Scorpio energy in your chart, personal planets in Scorpio, like your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, you're going to get some extra energy. So maybe be extra decisive, maybe, some like extra detective work. Maybe some people feeling more, which is fitting with Halloween around the corner, feeling more like occulty kind of vibes, digging in, getting deep, finding out secrets and into taboo things. So that could be like a feel with Mars going into Scorpio right now. The next sun, the purple take on the fiance. I know, yeah, I know. Next Sunday, it's going to be the fiance. Ugh. Yeah, the smug one. That'll be fun. The only fan base that hates the Vikings is probably Green Bay. I don't think Bears fans like the Vikings, do they? Don't the Bears fans not really like the Vikings either? But yeah, I mean, I think that Green Bay Vikings hatred is mutual between the fan bases for sure. The arch nemesis of each other. Yeah. All right. Now, let's see. I'm going to jump over to the Mercury here. Again, Mercury are ruled by Jupiter mainly, co-ruled by Saturn and Neptune, part of fortune, and then Chiron's hanging in there. And then the North and the South node are in each team's house too. That's the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. They're nodes of the moon. I don't normally look at them when I do the predictions. Every once in a while, but I really don't pay attention to the nodes of the moon when I do the predictions. But every once in a while, I'll kind of take a peek at what they're doing every once in a while. But I look at all the other stuff first. But, they're there and they shouldn't be like ignored per se. But I just feel like I get more information from the planets and the asteroids and then the part of fortune, the Arabic lots. Anywho, so Jupiter is in a good position. So the Mercury tonight are in a sign that they enjoy being in. Jupiter is in Cancer. Jupiter likes being there. Now, the moon, the last line of communication that the moon was making before she went void was a square to Jupiter, which is tension. That's not easy, but that has already come to pass by the time this game gets started. So I could read that too as like the start of this game. The fans are super amplified, but as time goes on, as the game goes on, they could maybe get a little bit more quiet, potentially, or maybe just lost themselves again because the moon co-rules the people. And for the Mercury, them again being Jupiter, the Jupiter is in Mercury's fifth house of how they play their game. So it's like I read that as Mercury, they're looking to take this one tonight. Like they mean business. They kind of got not completely blown out, but it wasn't close in game one at all. The Lynx dealing with an injury, of a big player, not going to be in anymore. For Carrington, that being for the Lynx, she's out now. And I feel like the Mercury, they really want to even the score here. They want to go back to Phoenix 1-1 with the potential to go up a series or up in the series. And I feel like I'm reading that as like they're coming to play tonight. So for the Mercury, their 10th house of how they show out to the public tonight lands in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter. So it's like they're all in on their game today, and all the eyes are obviously going to be looking at Mercury and how they play their game. Can they even hang with the Lynx? The Lynx are favored again by, I think, about 7 points. Mercury, again, they were not close to winning game one. All right, so JB, what do you got? In Chicago, the only team truly hated is Green Bay because they're so evil. The evils to the east, they're easily hateable. Most people here don't really think of the Vikings or Lions that much outside of when they play the Bears. All right, that's fair. Yeah. That could be similar, I think, for like Minnesota for like Vikings fans too. But yeah, the Green Bay evil to the east hatred, that's all the time. Yeah. Jade twice. All right. Like Favre, you mean? How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Now, for back to the Mercury, Saturn and Jupiter, the co-rulers of the Mercury tonight, are in good communication. And Saturn, again, can slow things down. You have to have a lot of patience with Saturn. It's the two graders supporting each other. The greater benefic planet, Jupiter, and the greater malefic planet, Saturn. I also am just kind of like seeing a potential for the Mercury to really use this to their advantage to slow the Lynx down in some capacity here tonight, to take advantage of the wandering energy that the Lynx potentially could show tonight. And with Neptune, the co-ruler of the Mercury, I feel like they have to stay logical about it. They have to stay level-headed because Neptune, again, I say this all the time with Neptune. I'm not the only one that says it with Neptune because that's the attitude, the characteristics of Neptune, or one of them is it can glamorize things. It can like put a veil over something so you can't see it clearly, where it looks really, really great. But as you get closer or as you remove the veil, you're like, whoa, what did I get myself into here? That's not what I thought. Can cause confusion. And that, again, Neptune is the co-ruler for the Mercury tonight. And Neptune and Saturn are right next to each other, co-ruling the Mercury. So it's like, could they like pull I don't want to say a fast one because Saturn is not fast and Neptune is not fast either. But could they like over the course of this game kind of, pull the Lynx under in some capacity and really just like at the end of it where the Lynx are like, what just even happened here? That's kind of what I'm seeing a little bit here. There's a little bit of potential for that. And another thing too is that Neptune, the co-ruler of the Mercury, is in good energy with Pluto. Pluto is the co-ruler of Scorpio. And for the Mercury, Pluto rules other people's money for them, which is like the Lynx money and what the Lynx own. The Lynx and Mercury obviously own their own game. And for the Lynx, another thing that I was looking at for them is that the sun is the co-ruler, one of the co-rulers of the Lynx tonight, and is very, very powerful and is in good harmony with Pluto. Pluto's transformational, and Pluto is in the Lynx 5th house of their game. So that reads that it could be the Lynx go up 2-0, and there's almost pretty much no opportunity for the Mercury. I mean, being down 2-0 in a 5-game series, that's a tough hill to climb. But for the Lynx, the sun also rules the house that's hidden enemies, that where hidden enemies lie. And the sun is opposing Saturn. Saturn is the Lynx 5th house of their games, the ruler of that. Saturn is also the co-ruler of Mercury. Saturn will bring delays. It will slow things down. It will slam a door in your face when you're going through a door. No, you are not going this way, actually. You have to go back. Patience is required. And also the sun, the ruler of the Lynx 12th house of what's hidden away from them, is right in their 1st house. So could it be the Lynx that, again, more evidence of what could transpire is, could the Lynx themselves get in their own way? Anyway, let's see. Oh, hi, Ghost. What is this? Ghost of, how do I say that? Duralitis? Am I saying that right? Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing an astrology prediction on the Lynx and the Mercury on the WNBA on the game tonight. I'm looking at the astrology chart of the time of tip-off and kind of explaining. I do that over here. Yeah, that's what I do over here. I do sports predictions, but mainly Minnesota sports, just because I'm a Minnesota sports fan, so that's kind of how it all started. But I do other games too. But yeah, that's what's going on here. So thanks for stopping through. I don't know if you're still on, but come by anytime. JB, what are your thoughts on the Timberwolves heading into the NBA season? I'm going to come back to that one. I'm just going to finish this first, and then I'm going to come back to that. Okay, JB? Oh, you're a water sign? Right on. So you must be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces then. But yeah, we have every single sign within us, but you were born when the sun was in one of those signs. That's cool. Yeah. There's a lot of planets in the water signs right now. So a lot of planetary energy, water energy going on right now. Expected something. Twitch. I like seeing Twitch people come on. Oh, okay. We got a little bot. All right. I always say hi to the bots. If you're an actual person, sorry if I called you a bot. Yes, I do astrology before the game. Sorry, I'm a little late seeing your comment, but yes, I do. Yes. Oh my God. Well, good luck with that. Scorpio energy. Yeah. Scorpio in parts of the body, it rules the nether regions. So that sounds about right. And with Mars and Scorpio right now, you might get what you want. She might be down. Hopefully, obviously she's down too. Good luck with that. Hi, William. Good to see you. How's it going? Man, your Eagles ended up getting the win. But congratulations to you. So for the game tonight, I want to just finish up the prediction here. There's just I've said this in the past with other predictions that I've done, and it's patterns you got to look for, you want to look for. When one of the benefic planets, that being Jupiter or Venus, rules one of the teams, normally when I need extra proof or extra, whatever check marks for either team on a yes or a no if they're going to win, it's hard to go away from a team that is represented by one of the benefic planets. It just usually bodes well for the team that has that energy, supporting them. But it's like for the Mercury, they have that tonight because they're ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is an exalted right now. Jupiter being in the sign of Cancer. Jupiter loves being there, does well there. Jupiter, the ruler of the Mercury tonight, and Jupiter is in the Mercury's 5th house of their game. Jupiter doesn't know any boundaries. It doesn't know any limits. It can, make things get big. It can bring blessings. But for the Mercury, they also are dealing with Saturn, the greater malefic planet. That will slow things down. But Saturn and Jupiter are supporting one another tonight. I don't know. There's just like something, where again, the Lynx are favored. They won game 1, no problem. And the Lynx have some support, and they have positive stuff going on too. But I just feel like if the Mercury can really hang and, have patience. Hang in there all 4 quarters. Take advantage of the Lynx kind of wandering energy in a way because of the moon being void. The sun opposing Saturn, I just feel like the Mercury are really going to try to slam that door in the Lynx, proverbial face tonight. But the Lynx too they've been in this position before. They have won multiple championships, so they know what it takes to win. But I feel like they just might be a little bit off their game tonight. We'll see what happens. And that's the beauty of it, because I always get to come back and check the work. But what else you guys got going on here? I'm going to come back to the chat for a second. That's kind of ironic. You said the sun is a strong sign of the late. The sun, so for tonight, Corey, how the chart is, the sun is the co-ruler of the Lynx. And the sun in astrology represents who we are at our core, our life force energy. So you were born when the sun was in Scorpio. So your sun sign is Scorpio. So who you are at your core, your effervescence, is Scorpio. But also when you were born, Mercury was somewhere, the moon was somewhere, Mars was somewhere. And if somebody is born at exactly 6:30 p.m. in Minneapolis tonight, exactly 0 seconds, 6:30 on the dot in Minneapolis, this will be their birth chart. This is their birth chart. So that person would have a sun in Libra, they would have a moon in Libra, and their rising sign would be Pisces. So anyway, and being they played the Phoenix Mercury has the sun as their NBA team. Yeah, that is kind of funny. Yeah, I know. And it's funny because Mercury is the planet that rules the Lynx tonight, and they're playing the Mercury. Yeah. But if you think about it too, like Corey said, Arizona, they have the sun and Mercury ruling, as the rulers of 2 of their teams, which is very, very powerful. And Arizona in itself is a very powerful place energetically. I mean, everywhere really kind of is, but that Arizona, a lot of activity going on in Arizona, right? So yeah, but that's funny. William, it was another one of those games where I was too nervous. Oh my gosh, you turned it off after the 3rd quarter? Yeah, I was, I'm not going to lie, and I don't think you were in the stream, but I was like, don't tell William, you guys, but I'm cheering for the Rams. But yeah, congratulations, you guys freaking got it done. And the the Eagles and the Vikings will face each other later on this season, so that should be fun. That would be actually a cool band name. Yeah, it would be. That is cool. I like that. Malefic planets. Malefic planets. Malefic planets. Did I say your name right too? How do you say that? Juralitis? Ghost of Juralitis? I hope I'm not saying that too poorly. Neptune and Saturn holding hands is kind of wholesome. There's hope for us yet, fam. That's funny. I like that. Yeah, they are. Saturn's moving away from Neptune. Neptune's moving towards Saturn. Yeah, but they're very close to one another. Yeah. Another thing, too, just for everybody, I mean, because all this energy is going on for all of us, too, where the planets are. So Mars and Pluto are squaring each other in the sky. It's going to go exact tomorrow. And that can be, you guys, very, very combative. Okay. So just try if you are feeling that way, especially tomorrow, maybe you're feeling that way right now, just try your best to just if you have road rage, for example, just try to ignore it. Just let it pass. Because if you entertain that with the Mars and Pluto square that's happening in the sky, and then the moon's also going to be there, moon rules our emotions, try to not let it get to you. I mean, this goes for everybody, myself included, and especially this is going to be heightened tomorrow. So, and Mars rules like knives too. So be careful if you're handling anything like that. Blades, all of that stuff. Mars also, well, yeah, fire too. Mars rules fire. So just, if you find yourself getting hot in a negative way, just try to ignore it, really, because if you entertain it, it could be worse than potentially otherwise just because of that energy. Okay. So and then with the Sun and Saturn opposition that everybody's dealing with too, you could feel like maybe just a little bit sluggish, tired, or just like you're really feeling held back, like what you want to do. Like you're trying to get somewhere or get something, especially with the new moon that's just happening, but you feel just kind of restricted. Just have patience, that is passing. Okay. It's already not exact anymore. But if you're feeling that way, all right. Anyway, lonely Japanese businessman often have to pay extra. Oh gosh, of court rulers. Oh man, we got a live one in here, you guys. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, definitely I'm cheering for the Lynx as a Lynx fan. I don't know. I feel like the Mercury might slide in there and snag one from them tonight. I could be wrong. I mean, of course, I could be wrong. Been wrong before. I've been right before. Yeah, climb through a window like a man. What do you mean by that? I hope nobody has to do anything like that or jump through a window. Oh, I'm saying it right? Okay, good deal. Nice. Thank you. Very good. Oh gosh. Oh yeah. I was gonna go back to JV's question too. How I'm feeling about the Timberwolves. The land of 1,000 mid quarterbacks. Yeah, you could say that a couple of times. Definitely. And then we had to deal with frickin' Pizza Ranch Boy for frickin' 6 years. I didn't think you were. Yeah, I didn't think you were on the stream. Yeah, because you were doing whatever, watching your game or whatever. But I was like, okay, you guys, I'm cheering for the Rams, but don't tell William. But now I'm telling you anyway. So, it does. Yes. You should put that on a t-shirt because it is fitting. It does. Yeah. All the zodiac signs rule something, a part of the body. Yeah. And Scorpio rules the nether regions or the genitals. But yeah, the nether regions is just better to say, I feel like, in my opinion. And to finish the prediction, you guys, I don't know. I feel like I could come back. This come back to bite me. Speaking of Scorpio, the stinger. I might get the stinger. Yeah. And maybe it could be I'm feeling the effects of the void moon too, where I'm just not on par with it. But I'm going to take I mean, again, look at where all the planets are, you guys. Look at where they all are. They're either right over here in Phoenix's house or right over here in the Lynx house. And then we got Pluto Jupiter, and Venus. Well, and then Uranus hanging out. All right, JV, back to your question about the NBA season. Oh my gosh, I heard about that. Jackson Dart. What is Jackson Dart's deal? Yeah, Russell Wilson, man. I mean, it's like, dude, just sit back and collect the paycheck now, man. I'm sorry about that. You know, Russell Wilson was so good for a while there. But JV, back to your question about the Timberwolves season, I'm very excited about it. I am hopeful as a Timberwolves fan. And I was just listening a little bit earlier, and they were talking about Anthony Edwards, and apparently he's just been working on his game already at the facility. And apparently he's been working on his three-point shot. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. And yeah, I'm excited. I love some basketball. So rooting for the Lynx right now, pulling for them. Yeah, hopefully for Minnesota fans and Minnesota basketball fans rather, we have a couple dominant teams in the WNBA and the NBA. I mean, the WNBA we already do, but yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited about it though. Yeah, I mean, good for them, honestly, too, for not like waiting around. Like, it's not working out, pull the plug. Yeah, I would agree there. I just heard the Houston Texans release Gardner Johnson. CJ Gardner Johnson. Okay, what's his deal? And aren't the Texans, they're 0-3, aren't they? They're just, yikes. CJ Stroud, right? What's going on there? What happened there? I would love to go to Sedona. Yeah, that is what they say. That is what they say. That is what I have heard. I would love to go there. Have you been there? But yeah, a lot of really cool energy in Arizona, and yeah, Sedona. Yeah, to Ghost Point there. And then the point spread for this game. And the funny thing too, when I was looking at this earlier, I was like, okay, is there going to be some sort of like Mercury 8-point victory? I'm going to go back to the chart here in a second. And then I heard after that the Lynx were, I was like, are the Mercury going to win by like 7-8? And then I heard like an hour later on the radio that the Lynx were favored by 7 or 7.5. So I'm like, that's funny. Maybe it'll be kind of flipped a little bit. But, all right, I'm just writing it in here. I'm going to come back to the chat in a second. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Fun to hang out on a Tuesday. On a Mars day, too. Tuesdays ruled by Mars. Let's see. Vitus. Duralatus. I have to just say it slowly until I get it. Duralatus. Vitus, Duralatus. And I might have to look that up later. Was a 70s era tennis player from NYC via Lithuania. Oh, right on. That's cool. Vitus? That's a cool name, too. Yeah. Gerolitis. There we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Yep, CJ Stroud has been awful. Oh my God, Corey, I thought don't you also have Baker Mayfield, if I remember correctly? Do you also have Baker Mayfield, or was I just thinking that? Do you have Baker too? Do you? I wonder I think CJ Stroud, I think he is a Libra, if I remember correctly, but let me look up his sign really quick. His sun sign anyway. Yeah, CJ Stroud is a Libra. He's actually going to have a birthday pretty soon. CJ Stroud, his birthday is next Friday. So he has been, I feel like things might turn a corner now with CJ Stroud because he has Mars out of Libra right now, or Mars has moved out of Libra. Mars had been there for quite some time, and Mars is debilitated in Libra. It's in its detriment there. It doesn't like it. So anybody that has, like, for CJ Stroud, his sun sign is in Libra, in early degrees of Libra, or like 10 degrees or so. So he had been dealing with Mars, and Mars is the lesser malefic planet. So Mars can be a little bit of a meanie. So now that Mars has moved into Scorpio, I feel like for CJ Stroud, just because we're talking about him, his game might start to get a little better now because he's got the sun coming there. He's going to have his birthday, aka your solar return. So that's when the sun moves to the exact same spot that it was when you were born. He's also has Mercury there right now. So there could be maybe a better line of communication going on, and especially like after this last week, because the sun was opposing Saturn. So CJ Stroud dealing with, again, just in general, with this extra opposition to Saturn, which again can cause delays, blockages, like loser, 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 Houston. Like first 3 games, losers, losers, losers. CJ Stroud, sorry, you're trying to go somewhere, you're trying to do something with your career. No, like that's that Saturn energy. So now that Mars is out of there, the sun's moving away from that opposition to Saturn, his game might start to pick up a little bit more. And I was kind of saying something similar to for Jake Browning, because Jake Browning is an Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. And I was saying, like, if I was the Bengals astrologer, like, don't give up on Jake Browning so quickly, because he had been dealing with one of his major planetary rulers in his life being in a sign that it doesn't do well in for the start of the year. So now that Mars is in Scorpio and Mars rules Scorpio, for like the Aries and Scorpio people, Jake Browning, because he's an Aries, that energy is going to be shifted. It's going to get a lot more precise, a lot more like, deep, digging deep with that Scorpio energy. Anyway, so just look out for that. So if I was a Bengals fan, I would not give up on Jake Browning just yet. You have a large pocket knife collection. I'll keep it in a storage tomorrow. There you go. Not a bad idea. Or if you have to use it, yeah, just be careful. Yeah, Mars does roll. It rolls like cutting, yeah, and knives, and like Mars rolls like policemen, firefighters, anger, like rash energy. Yeah, and there are astrologers that focus in world astrology, so how that's going to affect the world. And I don't focus in mundane astrology, so I don't really know like the exact points on the globe where this is going to be extra heightened energy, because everybody's dealing with it. But there'll be certain points on the globe where that'll be like really exact, and I'm not sure where that is. But there are astrologers that do mundane astrology, so they do like world astrology. I don't focus on that. I think it's cool, and I know a little bit, but Baker, all right. Okay, you guys, so I'm taking the Mercury to do a little bit of an upset tonight, just back to that, and just to end the prediction there. We'll see, because I love to see how the chart plays out, because I get to check my work, so. But yeah, so anyway, Baker. Yeah, you might want to throw him in. And I think, you know what? I think Baker is an Aries too, if I remember correctly. And when I do the NFL games too, like just this last week when I did, let's see. I'm going to open a new tab. Like when I did the Bengals and Vikings game, like I was looking at the astrology of Jake Browning that I could find, and also Carson Wentz. So I'll also look at the astrology again that I can find of the quarterbacks for the NFL, because they're so crucial for each team. And then I'll also take a peek at the head coaches too sometimes, and sometimes like the main like wide receiver stuff too, especially if I need more information, like if the chart's not giving me like a dead ringer, that can be really helpful too if I can find and just for JJ McCarthy, I've been saying this. I already forgot what I was looking up. Oh yeah, Baker. I'm pretty sure he's an Aries, but I could be wrong, of course. Yeah, Baker's an Aries too. Baker's finishing up his Saturn return too, because he's 30. So he's kind of in the last couple of years here. So it's like Baker, we could use him as like an example of somebody that's finishing their Saturn return. I mean, he's not done with it yet, but he has had this time he's still in the league. Like, yes, he went through some trials and tribulations. Saturn will do that. But he has clearly put in the work. He has put in the effort where he is still in the league. He is still starting. And Saturn also has to do with longevity. So if you put the work in, at around at the age about like 32, 33, a lot of people could find like success in their life too at the end of your first Saturn return if you put the work in. But then, Saturn again is the great malefic planet, so it can bring struggles, and you really do have to have patience. And if you don't have that, 27 to about 32, can be a very, very tough time, extra tough. But anyway, so. Oh my gosh, yeah, she's so good. And did you know that they, for fan appreciation night for the Lynx, they gave out pink wigs? I loved it. Oh my God, I thought it was so cool. I bet there'll be people still wearing them tonight. But yeah, they gave out pink wigs for because Dejanay Carrington also has pink hair, and then who else has pink hair? Heidman, I think, also has pink hair. But anyway, yeah, they gave out bright pink wigs for fan appreciation night for the Lynx. Oh my gosh, I thought that was so smart, and I thought that was so funny. Your wife's a Taurus. Did you say you're Scorpio, right? Did you say Scorpio? You said your water sign. You didn't say which one. But I don't know. You were talking about Scorpio, so that's what made me say Scorpio. But oh man, your wife's a Taurus. I always get along with Taurus. I mean, again, you guys, we have every zodiac sign within us. But if you have a lot of planets in, different signs, you're going to have more of those characteristics. And for myself, I have a lot of earth energy. So I always get along with the Tauruses. I love the Tauruses because she's also a Bears fan, and I find this grounds for divorce. I think that's a little extreme. Don't you? Yeah. But if you are a Scorpio and she's a Taurus, those are opposite signs, actually. Taurus and Scorpio are opposite in the zodiac. But you know what they say, opposites attract, right? And it's a water and an earth sign. So if you think about the elements, earth and water, earth is that like stability, the grounding energy. And the water, can cause a whole bunch of havoc on earth, right? Or it can make like a beautiful lake in a pond, right? Or it can make a muddy mess. So, but yeah, opposites attract there with Taurus and Scorpio. Normally that is good for compatibility, but you want to look at everything for compatibility in astrology. What you can look at is, comparing sun signs is good, but you could take, let's say in this situation, let's say husband, you could take husband's sun sign and then compare it with the wife's moon sign and see if those two signs are compatible. That's good for relationship astrology. And then you can do it vice versa. You can take the wife's sun sign, take the husband's moon sign, and see if those two are compatible. And you can do the same thing with each person's Mars and Venus, because Mars, masculine, rules men, Venus rules women. So you can also look at Venus and Mars for compatibility as well. But one good thing for compatibility is you want to look at one person's sun sign and the other person's moon sign. Because the sun, again, who we are at our core, and the moon rules our emotions. So you want to look at that's one thing to look at. But sun sign, looking at each other's sun sign that's good too. But that's, where you can go deeper on the compatibility level. Who's your favorite NFL player to have never played for the Vikings? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I'd have to ponder that for a while. The first one that comes to mind, like right now, just because I jumped on. Originally, I was a little, but I really am rooting for him. I really like Trevor Lawrence. He's a little bit newer in the league, though. I'm a fan of his, and he's never been on the Vikings. I'm trying to think of like an older player. I always like Troy Aikman. Too. Let's see. Trying to think. That is a very good question because obviously you guys, JB, the affinity for the Vikings, and I will support them even when they leave. Oh man. And you guys, did you hear that Stephon Diggs is having a baby with Cardi B? Did you hear about that? And apparently, I mean, I think Cardi B, this is like her third or fourth kid or something. Not that, I mean, they can do whatever they want, whatever. But I didn't realize, I think Stephon Diggs has like 5 kids. It's like, whoa, dude. And I don't know if you guys remember this too, but like when he was on the Vikings, they did this, like, they probably still do it, this little, like, where one of the players would go interview all the other players or like ask them a question. And the Vikings, whoever it was, they went up and asked, which of your teammates would you not want your sister to date? And all of them said Stephon Diggs. That was from a few years ago, obviously, but JV, that's a good question, but those are just a couple that come to mind. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Yeah, those are the ones that come to mind right now. Yeah. But I like that question. That's good. Made me think. How did I get into football? Family thing. Oh, yeah, I've always been a sports fan. Yeah. But the football, I was born and raised in Minnesota. So yeah, definitely that's where like my Vikings fandom comes in. But yeah, I grew up playing sports and watching them. Yeah. So I like playing too. Like sometimes it's hard for me to watch sports because I want to play. But yeah, so I grew up playing and I've always been a fan. So yeah. Yeah, Saturn is a toughie. The greater malefic, the bigger one. So in astrology, the malefic planets, Saturn is the greater, Mars is the lesser malefic. And then on the other side, Jupiter is the greater benefic planet. And then Venus is the lesser benefic planet. And then Mercury is neutral. And then the sun and the moon, they're luminaries. So, and then we have the outer planets. Angel, Jade, you'd be around Sunday morning? Yep, I'm going to be around Sunday. I'm planning to start at about 7:30. Yes, 7:30 Central Time. So that would be a really early one. Are you going to get up extra early on Sunday? That'll be extra early for West Coast time. Hi, Archangel. How are you? The day before the Vikings game, I noticed Venus was very bright. Was there anything with Venus leading up to the Vikings game on Sunday? Jupiter is very, very bright in the eastern sky in the morning. If you're up about like an hour, let's see, I'm trying to think because I've been seeing Jupiter the last couple of mornings. Jupiter will stay out. So in the eastern sky, right before sunrise, if you guys are up. And then let's see, where's Venus is in Virgo right now. I don't think I have the chart pulled up for Sunday still. I might, actually. I think I might have it. Let's see. Yeah, let me look again. I can't remember. Actually, I could look at my notes. Let me look at my notes. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Archangel. So on Sunday, Venus was the planet that ruled the Vikings. That was their planetary ruler. I just have to look at my nerd notes, you guys. All right. And then we had the eclipse too, that energy. But yeah, Venus was the ruler of the Vikings. So yeah, shining very bright. Obviously the Vikings did, didn't they? So the Vikings surprised me too. I thought it was going to be, I had the Vikings winning, but I had them winning by 4 to 7 points. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. But also during the planetary pregame, I briefly made mention of the Vikings. I said it like very briefly. I was like, could there be like a 30-point victory for the Vikings? And then I just immediately dismissed it. And I was like, no. And then I just kept going. But yeah, I did briefly make mention of that. So I'm going to have to, these are the things where I got to learn, right? Where I'm always learning. I got to go back and I got to learn for next time. So yeah, I had the Vikings winning, but I didn't have them winning by that much. Again, I had them winning by 4 to 7. It was closer to 47, but yeah. Diggs is on the Patriots. Don't hear much about him out there. Yeah, I mean, the most that I hear about Stephon Diggs, seriously, is like him being in the spotlight with his lady, Cardi B. Yeah, that's the most I hear about Stephon Diggs, is kind of his ongoings there. But yeah, I guess well, let me try to look it up. He like surprised her. I mean, I'm still a Stephon Diggs fan. He's I mean, I always will be. And just again, my affinity for Case Keenum too, because they were the two with the Minneapolis Miracle. I mean, come on. That's the best play in Vikings history. He just like surprised her with like some sort of oh, here it was. Oh, somebody has this as like a short. And he's, Stephon Diggs has always been into like, fashion and stuff like that. Well, Justin Jefferson is too. He kind of they went to Paris Fashion Week, like Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, they walked in. I can't remember what show it was, what designer it was. It might have been Balenciaga. Anyway, so here's Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. He like surprised her with this like huge bouquet or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's all flashy.
No, I'm just really scared. Like, my stomach hurts.
Okay. Oh yeah, so he surprised her with like this huge bouquet of flowers for her new album release on like a truck bed. Oh, look at that, Venus. Venus Saint Clair. That's on the bottom. And you know what, you guys? Venus rules flowers, so that's very fitting. Venus rules pretty things. Okay? Anyway. So that's why people that are born with Venus in their first house, and your first house is you, like your physical self. A lot of people with Venus in the first house are so pretty because they have Venus in the first. Apparently. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Edwards isn't far behind, I don't think. I didn't realize. I mean, again, you guys do what they're going to do whatever they want to do. But yeah, it seems just like you cannot be present, right? That would be, well, I shouldn't say you can't. That'd be very hard to be present for your children with that many. I mean, how many does Nick Cannon have now? Doesn't he have like 12 or something? Yes, they are playing in Ireland this Sunday, and it's going to be 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. Central Time. I'm planning on starting the stream at about 7:30. All right? So I hope to see you there if you want to stop by. Oh, you're a Scorpio. Right on. Very good. Corey Scorpio too. Yeah. I have 2 planets in Scorpio personally, so I usually get along with the Scorpios too. But yeah, Scorpio and Taurus, they're opposite signs, so opposites attract. Yeah. Yes, she has pink hair too. Seriously, that was whoever thought of that giveaway with the pink wigs. I'm jealous that I wasn't there and that I wasn't at the Target Center to get one, because that was a really good idea. And people are still, obviously wearing them. And then, Nafisa Collier has a little bit of pink in her hair too. And so does Dejanay Carrington, but obviously she's out. But, as I go to Hulu, you guys, because the game's about to start in 2 minutes, the price of Legacy Hulu. Oh, they're telling me it's going to go up. I swear, every couple of months, they just keep saying that it's going to go up for Hulu Live. Okay, and now it's telling me again. Okay, and again, a 3rd time. Thanks. And a 4th time. Okay, Hulu, now you're pissing me off. And a lot of time, Hulu pisses me off. Right now, it's pissing me off. Because all I'm trying to do is go to the homepage, and it keeps bringing me to this stupid bullshit of me just agreeing. Oh, it did it again. I already agreed. Stop. See, I go through these phases where I'm like, to manage your subscription. Okay. How many times do I have to click okay? You guys, it keeps telling me the same thing over and over. I keep pressing okay. I try to go to a different tab. How many times do I have to freaking press OK to the onboarding? This is pissing me off. I'm feeling the Mars and Pluto square right now. Hulu, stop being a little biatch. But seriously, Hulu will do this. It's like, how many times do I have to click OK? All right, I saw your message. I clicked OK, so now bring me to my page. You're just going to keep bringing me to this stupid bullshit. It just did it again. My God. I don't know how many times I can press OK. Oh, wow. Somebody must have, oh, okay. I was like, somebody must have heard me because it's fixed. And now it just went into it again. What the hell? My favorite non-Bears player, is JJ McCarthy, and Joe Burrow is tied with Justin Herbert for my second favorite non-Bears player. Oh, those are good. Yeah, JV, what do you think about, because you've been very, let's see, you've known about JJ McCarthy for a while. You've been talking about him for a while. Like, you called it for a long, long time. You've been on this JJ McCarthy scene. Okay. So what do you think about his whole situation right now? Like, do you feel like he's extra injury prone or what? Or is this just do you maybe think there's not as much injury as they're portraying, and maybe they just want him to hang out and wait a little bit longer? Or do you think there's an issue? I still, I don't think anybody should go crazy and be like, no, JJ McCarthy's never going to work out now. Not at all. I just think it's going to take a lot of time. Okay, apparently I can't watch the game now because Hulu's not, I don't know how many times I can say I agree. Upcoming price increase. Okay. This is stupid. This is so stupid. You guys, look at what I'm dealing with. Here, I'm going to show you. Look at this. Upcoming price increase. Okay. Oh, really? I said okay. Oh, no. Okay. You guys, seriously, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know. This is stupid. I can't. I tried to go to the actual login page, and then it just redirected me to here, to onboarding. Hey, guess what? I already did that. That is so unbelievably frustrating. And it's shit like that happens with Hulu all the time that literally wants to make me cancel it. Like, I'm really close to emailing them and being like, this is stupid. How many times do I have to press OK to get live? I'm paying what are you guys paying? Price increase, and now you're not going to even let us go to our main page? What the hell is up with that? Whatever, Hulu. And then if you go somewhere else and be like, you're not at home. Oh, help center. Oh, yeah, I got a question for you, Hulu. Now's not the time. Virtual assistant my ass. What are you going to do? Anyway, I'll deal with that later. Yes, Team Nerd Notes. I just wanted to watch the frickin' game. Ugh. Stupid. We'll see. Nerd Notes for the win. Exactly. Coming in clutch. Venus is the key for the Vikings. Yes. One of the benefic planets. Seriously. When one of the benefics is supporting, it usually bodes well. It is. It can be. I'm trying to make it so it's not going to be that complicated. I'm trying to get better at explaining it shorter and better, and so it doesn't have to be as complicated. But yeah, it can be. But it doesn't have to be. But yeah, definitely can be. Case Keenum for sure. Yeah, I like Case better. Yeah, I do like Diggs though. Oh, a free site? I don't know. I used to use free sites and it kind of just, I feel like I got into more, like it slowed down my computer and stuff. I mean, definitely send it over. I'll check it out. I used to watch for free. But yeah, send it over if you want. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe restart my computer. I'll deal with that later. Yeah. I know, it's so weird. It does stuff like that all the time, too. Or like you try to log in and you're already be logged in, and then it'll bring you back to the login page. It'll be like, log in. It's like, I already logged in, so I don't know. Hey, now the bot's ignoring me. Hi, I'm Hulu's virtual assistant. I can help with common questions. If you don't see your issue below, type it in and I'll do my best to answer. One of the things was below. It said, I can't log in. And then I said, I can't log in. And now the bot's leaving me hanging. What the hell? Yeah, I was trying to do that too. I was trying to get on ESPN because I have it on Hulu. Might just have to ditch for ESPN in general. JV, your thoughts on JJ McCarthy? Number one, he wasn't this injury prone at Michigan. Yikes. Uh-oh, that's scary. Number two, I think they're being extra cautious with his ankle injury and not rushing him back. Yeah, I agree with the latter. I think they were like, oh shit, we went all in. I mean, I don't have to go on this rant again, okay, because I already have, but it's like, they put all their freaking eggs in the basket. They got the cart before the horse, okay? And funny enough, JJ McCarthy's Chinese animal is a horse, but so we'll see. I still think it'll work out, but I just think, and with JJ McCarthy's, like with his own personal astrology, like it's just going to take a while. JJ has gotten off to a slower start to his career than I thought he would, but I think he'll figure it out and still be a really good player. Yeah. And again, just with his astrology, like JJ McCarthy was born with his moon next to the fixed star Regulus, which is like the royal star. If somebody has like their sun, their moon, like JJ McCarthy does, they're rising near Regulus, which is 29 degrees of Leo, that is very, very potent and very, very powerful, especially for like fame. So, anyway, the TV app. Okay, I'll write it down. I will definitely check it out. Thank you. But I'm probably going to sign off too. Probably go reboot my computer. And I was only going to stay on for a little while because I wasn't planning on doing like commentary for the game tonight. Well, obviously it's not working anyway. So I got to go feed my dog too. She's hungry. Do that. But I did want to do the astrology and just pop on and say hi. Dot 2. Ooh, no pop-ups or sign-ups. Okay. Nice. We like that. Seriously, Hulu's virtual assistant is ignoring me. Not even talking back to me. Usually I'm supportive of the bots. Like I don't want the bots turning on me, you know? But Hulu, you're being a little bit of a biatch. Being a little bit of a brat, Hulu. I'm over it. At Tuesday, no Tuesday night. Hi Mars, good to see you. It's Lynx and Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Mercury tonight, WNBA, game 2. So I did the astrology prediction for that. And then I was just talking a little bit of Vikings, but I'm probably going to sign off, go feed my dog. She's hungry. And then I was contemplating, because Survivor starts tomorrow, you guys. So I was contemplating doing live commentary on Survivor, because it is episode 1. And you guys know how I feel about Survivor. I love it. I wish they would cast me. I'm waiting for them to call me. I'll have to send in my 4th audition. I'll have to audition for the 4th time. But I'll get my Survivor buff. It's over there. Yeah, WNBA. I was a little late to that. Thanks, Archangel. Yes. Yes, Mars Attacks. So funny. A classic. Not yet. Yeah. I had to, you guys, and I knew that would happen, but that's fine. I had to cut that out of the live stream. Yeah, I got like a copyright thing on that or whatever, which I knew that I would, but it was all for sharing, all for the stream, right? Mars Attacks. I watched that movie too many times as a kid. Seriously. And it's like fascinating, but also scary at the same time. Yeah, Hulu's doing the same thing. Anyway, so, but I think it's fine. I'll figure it out. Like Ghost said, I'll probably reboot the system. Go from there. Tonight is the last episode of Alien Earth series. What channel is that on? That's exciting. My cousin was on an episode of, let's see, what was the name of the show? I have to look it up. I think it was UFO Files. Well, if my Hulu would pull up and stop being dumb, I could show you. I could go in my history. Hold on. He was in an episode of, okay, crap, where is it? Okay, you guys, I'm trying to find it. It's on Hulu. Oh, is this it? No. He does a lot of UFO stuff. No. Where is it? Damn it. You guys, I'm sorry. I thought I would find it here. It's like UFO Files or I watched it. It was good. I'll get back to you guys on that. I don't want to sit here looking for it for too long, but God, what was it called? All right. Corey. Bye, Jade. Nice talking to you. Nice seeing you, Corey. Exciting to catch you on a live. Always nice to hear from you. You're going to be in Delano for church, so by the time I get home, the game will probably be over. It might be. Yeah, it might be over at like 10:30. Well, like 11:30 probably. But it's always good to see you. You take care. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, your Mars Day. Ahoy! Anxious Raccoon. That's a fun name. Oh, how's it going? Thanks for stopping through. It's on FCX channel and on Hulu. Well, hopefully my Hulu will eventually open up here. I think Hulu itself, like the entire website, is having a problem, but hopefully do a little reboot and it'll be back. But oh, FX, okay, right on. Yeah, Mars is just holding it down with no TV. You know what I might have to do? I can listen to the Lynx network. They have it on iHeartRadio, so I can listen to the radio stream. But it's just stupid that the Hulu in general isn't working. Like that's just, but I think it's just their site. I think even with the virtual assistant not getting back to me, like what the hell? Good for you. You don't even have a TV? I have a TV. I have two TVs. The one actually has like 6 channels. The other one I would have to like hook up my DVD player or something to watch something on, but yeah. Should give up TV. Yeah, I watch everything on my computer too. Like I don't have any way to watch like Hulu on my like actual TV, and my actual TV itself isn't that big, but I have the old school antenna on there. So nice. Very good. I did write it down. So thank you so much for sending that over. Alrighty. Well, before I sign off, at least I think Google's still working. So I could at least go see what the score is. Lynx are up by 4. They're a little over halfway through the first quarter. It's Mercury 10, Lynx 14, 4:39 to go in the first. Watch live ESPN, Fubo, Sling TV. I wonder if I still have a free subscription to ESPN. I think I already used my like free trial. That's okay. Oh, here we go. Finally. Okay, you guys, now after all of this, Hulu's making me sign in. I can't let it go. I can't let it go. Yeah, it's still bringing me back to this stupid onboarding thing. Dumb. All right. Well, anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. I am gonna try to go pop on for game 3. We'll see. But also planning on Sunday early. All right, top of the morning, 7:30 Central Time. I'm planning to start the stream for Vikings and Pittsburgh. He who shall not be named, the ex evil to the east, ex Green Bay quarterback, the smug one. All right. So that should be fun though. And yeah, I think I'll have my tea or my coffee, whatever it is. I'll have my bevy of choice. I'll be ready to go. But that is the plan. So hopefully everybody stops by if you're able to. But it's always good seeing everybody. And thanks again for hanging out. We'll see how this game goes. As an astrologer, I hope I get my prediction right. But, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Again, be careful tomorrow, you guys, with the Mars-Pluto square. Just look out for that. If you find yourself just really wanting to lose it, just don't. Okay? Again, myself included. I'll have to remember that. So, because it could spiral just because of that square going on between Mars and Pluto. And it's going to be exact tomorrow. So, just be careful out there. All right? Stay safe, everybody. But yeah, hopefully see you maybe Friday. Hopefully maybe Sunday. Maybe both days. But until then, until next time, everybody. Good to see everybody. Take care. Thanks for chatting. It's always good to talk to you guys. Exactly. Yeah, I refuse to say his name. I just won't do it. I can't. I think it's been years since I've said his name. I think it's maybe popped out here or there, but the smug one. The smudgeness. Anyway, but yes, you're correct. But all right. We don't want to end on that note, but it's still a kind of funny note. But my dog is lingering over there. She's like, hey, I heard the word dinner. You said it a couple of times. So where is it at? Oh, she just walked by again. She's pacing. So anyway, I'll catch you on the next one, everybody. Take care. Peace out.